What is going on, everybody? I hope you're all well, and welcome back to Dragon Age Origins. So last episode, we fought our way through the Dead Trenches. We met Hespeth, who gave us a little backstory on the things that have been going on here for the last 2 years while they've been in the Deep Roads with Bronca. We went ahead and put Laren out of her misery. Went ahead and dealt with the Broodmother, and now the only thing we have left to do is press onto the Anvil of the Void and see what Bronca has to say for herself. And potentially make her pay for her crimes against humanity here. Touched on it a little last episode, but as I said, there's no conversation to be had and nothing to be done. If she's responsible for this, that's going to be the end of her journey. So the Anvil of the Void, the ancient smithy of Caradon, the dwarven paragon renowned for creating the lost art of making golems. Let's head into the anvil. Now, like the rest of the maniacs in the world, like Lorgain, I'm sure if Bronca is responsible for that, she's gonna have plenty of nonsense excuses for all of her treachery and crimes here. They always have some kind of bullshit justification. Sure, she has her own suitcase full of it.
What was that?
Let me be blunt with you. After all this time, my tolerance for social graces is fairly limited. That doesn't bother you, I hope.
Well, shave my back and call me an elf. Bronca? By the stone! I barely recognized you!
Oghren. It figures you'd eventually find your way here. Hopefully you can find your way back more easily. And how shall I address you? Hired sword of the latest lordling to come looking for me? Or just the only one who didn't mind Oghren's ale breath?
Be respectful, woman. You're talking to a Grey Warden.
Ah, so an important errand boy, then. I suppose something serious has happened. Is Endrin dead? That seems most likely. He was on the old and wheezy side.
Her attitude is already quite repulsive. Yes, his chosen successor, Haramont, seeks your support.
Haramont, is it? Insufferable blowhard who's never had one memorable moment in his tradition-bound life. I don't care if the Assembly puts a drunken monkey on the throne. Because our protector, our great invention, the thing that once made our armies the envy of the world, is lost to the very Darkspawn it should be fighting. The Anvil of the Void. The means by which the ancients forged their army of golems and held off the first archdemon ever to rise. It's here, so close I can taste it.
She clearly doesn't give a shit about any of her own people. She doesn't care who leads. She doesn't like either Balin or Haramont. She just doesn't care at all. She only cares about her own glory, clearly. But of course, there is a catch.
The anvil lies on the other side of a gauntlet of traps designed by Caradon himself. My people and I have given body and soul to unlocking its secrets. This is what's important. This has lasting meaning. If I succeed, the dwarven people benefit. Kings, politics, all that is transitory. I've given up everything and would sacrifice anything to get the Anvil of the Void.
Does that include Hespeth and the others of your house?
Enough questions. If you wish me to get involved with this imbecilic election, I must first have the Anvil. There's only one way out, Warden. Forward. Through Caradon's maze, and out to where the Anvil waits.
What has this place done to you? I remember marrying a girl you could talk to for 1 minute and see her brilliance.
I am your paragon.
Egocentric nutcase. I see she doesn't even want to acknowledge what she's done to her house. She just said that's enough. Wouldn't like to even show an ounce of remorse for that. All that matters is the anvil, right? Whatever it takes, however many lives it costs, how much dignity, honor. The hell with them all, as long as Bronca here gets to keep being Paragon. She is a repulsive woman so far.
I needed people to
This should be easy
test
enough.
Caradon's traps. There's no way to break through except by trial and error. I sent them in. They were all mine, pledged to be my house, and they didn't want to help. They tried to leave me, even my Hespeth. But even she couldn't understand that when you reach for greatness, there are sacrifices. As many sacrifices as are needed.
I note how she wasn't the one being sacrificed. She's not the one that was turned into a broodmother here. If all that mattered was the anvil, why couldn't it have been anybody else? Why not Hespeth? Why not give yourself up to the Darkspawn and let them continue? No, of course not. Of course you threw your own people into the meat grinder while you sat up here and watched. Whatever deal you made with these Darkspawn is at its end. They're all dead, and you're likely to follow based on what I'm seeing so far, if I'm being honest with you. Repulsive little vile, evil politician. When you reach for greatness, sacrifices must be made. As if there's no humanity in her entire house that she let get butchered here. None of that matters though, right? Because she could have had another notch in her Paragon belt.
She was pledged to me. She swore she'd do whatever it took to find the anvil. There was no other choice. Most of them were dying of the taint already. But some of the women were transforming. I knew what they would become. There would be an endless supply, fresh Darkspawn to test the traps. They could still serve me. Let me find the anvil. It was the only way.
She started feeding her people to the wood chipper. They all turned on her, and she was like, you don't get to lead my service. You're gonna go become, like, Darkspawn brood mothers. You're gonna birth all these evil creatures, lose whatever's left of your sanity and your humanity, and I'm just gonna sit here and reap the rewards. Hope you don't mind becoming abominations, everybody who pledged your entire life to the service of me. This woman makes me sick. People like her are genuinely a blight on the world. Again, it's the mad scientist, like... It's the mad scientist psychology of, well, it's for progress, so we have to do these kind of tests. Somebody has to be on the carbon slab.
On it.
You have no idea how they carried on, holding my hand and begging to die. They had pledged me their loyalty. They had no right to fight me. They say your order is renowned for its wits as well as its brawn. Perhaps you'll do better than my poor clansmen. There's something about this place. It makes people despair.
And you hear it from the horse's mouth itself, begging for death. Holding her hand, begging, please let me die. And she's just like, no, you're gonna go be touched and filled and whatever else by the Darkspawn horde, and that'll be the end of you. You can just spawn these abominations for me infinitely, and what you want for your own life doesn't really matter because I'm a noble and I want glory. That's... For lack of a better way to say it, fuck this bitch and everything she stands for. I am very excited to put a sword in her throat, actually. It's quite thrilling. He's not going to get the opportunity to do any of that for herself. Now, we can't save any of these people. They're all already gone. What we can do is get them justice and avenge them. But her house is unfortunately all already butchered. There's nothing that can be done about that. She already fed all her people to the Darkspawn. We put Laren out of her misery, at least. She's not going to be spawning any more of these abominations. It's not like she had the brain left to continue to beg for death, but alas, we gave it to her anyway. You have anything else to say for yourself, you piece of shit? How touching. Yeah, she's the one thing I hate almost equally to the others on the list that I often bring up, you know, slavers, rapists, is traitors. She's a traitor. And honestly, not dissimilar from a slaver. She treated all the people sworn to her under oath as slaves. And for as much as they're sworn to her, she's also sworn to them. He's their leader. He has an obligation and a duty to those people as much as they have to her, and she betrayed that. She betrayed the trust and the oath. Any shred of honor that maybe she had one day, like Ogren says, she used to be very brilliant. You could look at her, talk to her for 10 seconds and see her brilliance. That's all gone. She shredded that on the altar of the Anvil of the Void that she sacrificed it all for. And they're all gone. They can't come back. How many dwarves did she bring in here? 300? And they're all dead, except Hespeth. So she has a 298 body count on her. And we're going to make that 299 when we take care of Bronco. 298 lives. For what? For this? No. That won't be forgiven, and we won't be doing that. What we will be doing is turning this gas off, because we're certainly not going to suffocate in here. If I have one motivation, it's to live long enough to kill Bronca right now. The Anvil is secondary. I want Bronca's ass. My priority here is to send Bronca to her people so they can judge her in the stone. See how her ancestors view what she did. I suspect it won't be kind. I feel like her makes me sick. Only one thing to be done with that. And of course, as always, she has her justification. Just like Loghain says everything he's done is for Ferelden independence. He's uniting the land, he's saving us from some Orlesian invasion that's not even coming. Of course, she has her bullshit too. Like, oh, we'll get the army back that once made us great. It'll be fine, it'll be perfect. We'll be able to take back the deep roads, or whatever little fantasy she has cooked up in her head. It's not true, it's all nonsense, it's all horseshit. She just wants the glory. She wants the little badge of honor that she found the Anvil of the Void. Become a 2x Paragon, right? Well, that won't be happening.
Trap! Trap! Let's get started.
You are gonna get off my mage. I'll step up a tone. There we go. Wonderful. I'll step up a tone again. I think he got that off. Yeah, he did. Circle behind and chop that wood. Now, Morrigan's telekinetic blades would come in very handy here if she had them. Well, she's not here to help us, but it'd be very useful against these golems. Not gonna matter though, they'll fall just like everybody else.
Right.
Who knows, maybe even Hespeth will show up to see her lover finally face justice. Not much can be done for Hespeth at this point. She's just a ticking time bomb. She's just gonna die from the taint. It already looked like she was deteriorating very badly. And honestly, if Larian had have died, then I'm sure Hespeth was next on the chopping block for Bronca. She just saved her till last because she liked her the most. I'm sure she was still up for grabs too. Now this fight can actually be very tough. So we are going to drop a save here. This can be a tough fight. There's certainly all kinds of blood magic going on here with this. Now in general, what I would recommend doing is focusing on one thing at a time and just desperately trying to chop it down. Wind casted haste, which is bad. So we had already taken that away from her. So every time you kill the relevant spirit, you're gonna get to interact with the anvil. You gotta do that on all sides of the anvil, and that'll help you deal with some of this. I'm gonna take that off. Let's go into her tactics real fast. I didn't tell her. She doesn't have haste in her tactics, does she? She does, okay. We'll turn that off. I don't want her casting that, because that ruins our attack speed.
Weapons at the ready.
I think that's just broken because of the fact that we're casting momentum. I think it breaks. Alistair, I do need you to do something here.
Look at this mess. I love it.
Kick that into the anvil. We're gonna get there over time. It's gonna rotate. This one first. He stunned us before we stunned him. Alistair's stamina bar is just completely nuked. And off precise striking.
Now we go into the...
Shoot that into the anvil. I'll take care of this one. On rare occasions you can get all 4 in one rotation, but most of the time you won't be able to. I'll settle for 2, take it nice and steady. You gotta hit each one of these faces of the anvil twice.
This is annoying.
And once you see it bleeding like that, go ahead and focus on this one first.
I must.
Now that's one side taken care of.
This should be easy enough. Let's get started.
We do just want to work our way rotating around here.
Let's get started. Done and done.
We did hit it.
Right.
Now we're going to focus on this guy because the red eyes are up, which means this one's almost dead. Get systematic with it. You know it's only spawning 3 per round now, so it has made this a little easier on us. Take the greater healing potion. Wynn's kind of struggling on mana right now. Okay, now that's 2 sides taken care of. We'll chase the ace around and get this guy. Everybody here needs to take a sip. Again, it's a tough fight.
We must fight.
Stay still. Move and parry. Block and kill. Shot complete. On to the next. Let's make this quick, shall we?
Okay, now we're gonna take this guy first. When he spawns up.
You should be
And that'll just be the last cylinder we have after this. We're gonna get that done first because that's gonna sit there and cast blood magic on us. Basically the entire encounter if you don't take the blood eye down. It's just gonna sit there and spit its blood magic at us. And it's interesting that the dwarves here clearly have some kind of blood magic ritual going on.
It is done.
Enough.
It seems like these spirits of dwarves are coming out of this this anvil. See, they're like summoning spirits of dwarves. And the spirits clearly aren't happy about it.
I must.
We're gonna go ahead and back up from the big lyrium explosion. And that's the Anvil of the Void taken care of. Now, real fast, before we continue, let's go ahead and dip into Alistair's tactics. We want precise striking gone for now, so we'll go ahead and turn that off. We'll drop that down here. So now he has Shield Wall, Taunt, Warcry, Elite or Highest for the Bash and the Pummel. He's doing kind of okay. So instead, actually, my mistake. Here's what we'll do. We'll switch the precise striking to rally. Then we'll go ahead and bump that back up because we do want him popping rally as often as possible. Yeah, whatever's going on here with the anvil, it was casting blood magic. The dwarves have immunity to magic; they can't cast spells, so whatever went down there is something sketchy. It's not dwarven made, at least not exclusively. Has to be some form of magic involved in that. Maybe somebody made a deal with a demon here. Certainly a bad look for the Paragon. Now, real quick, Ogren, just before we step in here, we're gonna give him a little sip.
By my ancestors.
Give him some little something something.
My name is Carradine. Once, longer ago than I care to think, I was a paragon to the dwarves of Orzammar. If you seek the Anvil, then you must care about my story, or be doomed to relive it.
The Paragon Carradine himself. Carradine, as in the Carradine of Carradine's Cross.
Though I made many things in my time, I rose to fame and earned my status based on a single item, the Anvil of the Void. It allowed me to forge a man of steel or stone, as flexible and clever as any soldier. As an army, they were invincible, but I told no one the cost. No mere smith, however skilled, has the power to create life. To make my golems live, I had to take their lives from elsewhere.
Sounds like blood magic. A dangerous road.
The Darkspawn were pressing in. Originally, I only took volunteers, the bravest of souls, willing to trade their very lives for the chance to defend their homeland. But King Valtor became greedy. He began to force men, casteless and criminals, his political enemies, all of them were to be given to the Anvil. It took feeling the hammer's blow myself to realize the height of my crimes.
So they were essentially treating it like a prison camp. You step on the wrong person's toes, you get turned into a golem with a control rod. It's just sucking up casteless on the street. The only crime they ever committed was to be born, potentially, and again, chuck them into the blood magic ritual. This is my problem with politicians and the mindset of the ends justifying the means. None of this is okay. Now, Carradine does have a part to play, but he at least seems like he came to his senses at some point. So you sealed it away. Orzammar could use it.
No! I entombed myself here to find a way to destroy the Anvil. It must not be used again!
No! The anvil is mine! No one will take it from me!
You, please, help me destroy the Anvil. Do not let it enslave more souls than it already has.
So, you guys already know that my opinion on slavers is very, very deeply seated in hatred. And you guys also already know my opinion on Branka back there. So, not only is it a choice between freedom and slavery, it's also a choice between Branka and Carradine, and I'm Team Carradine all the way. Branka can blow this whole thing out of her ass as far as I'm concerned. So, you were a paragon. I'll help you if you support a new king.
Don't listen! He's been trapped here for 1,000 years, stewing in his own madness. Help me claim the anvil, and you will have an army like you've never seen!
Branka, you mad, bleeding nugtail. Does this thing mean so much to you that you can't even see what you've lost to get it?
Look around. Is this what our empire should look like? A crumbling tunnel filled with Darkspawn spume? The anvil will let us take back our glory!
No, the Anvil will let you justify your atrocities in some weird corner of your mind, which we're not going to allow to happen. She would enslave and take away the lives of even more dwarves. Like King Valtor had his enemies going in there. Imagine what this crazy bitch would do. She would have everybody in the entirety of Orzammar become a golem, except a select few that could serve her. And then eventually, when she got tired of them, she'd chuck them in too. Because why not, right? It's all for the glory of the Empire. No. The Anvil enslaves living souls. It must be destroyed.
Thank you, stranger. Your compassion shames me.
No, you will not take it. Not while I still live.
That can be fixed.
Don't throw your life away for this.
And you see she's dangerous.
Just give her the blasted thing. She's confused. Maybe once she calms down, we can talk to her.
She's obsessed, beyond redemption.
Bah! You're not the only master smith here, Caradin. Golems, obey me! Attack!
A control rod! My friend! You must help me! I cannot stop her alone!
Absolutely. Indeed we will, Caradin. Do not worry, we're gonna take care of this crazy psychopath right now. Ogren disapproved 10, but I do believe ultimately he'll understand. He'll get the memo eventually. In the meantime, we're gonna start clearing out some of this. That's one. That's two. Slowly but surely, we're just gonna chop through all this. Alright, Bronco, now it's just you. That. Another mark of death. And here you see the consequences of her actions. She dies here alone in her own misery. Exactly where you belong. Headless in a pool of Darkspawn shit. Yeah, Bronca's shield. I guess a proof of a Paragon. That's all that's left of her is her house sigil on a little shield. She's gonna rot here with her atrocities.
As you wish.
I don't feel bad about that. That's the correct decision. Any other choice would be morally reprehensible, given all the she did to get down here. Now here we have this Golem registry. You see a large stone tablet, chipped with age, with a great number of dwarven runes carved into its surface. Examine the tablet more closely. The writing is in Dwarven and appears to be a long list of names, each with the stamp of their house next to them. You recognize a few of the house names. At the bottom of the list are the words, "We honor those who have made this sacrifice. Let their names be remembered." The carvings are still deep enough that a tracing could be taken, allowing the information to be carried elsewhere. Ogren, what is this? Can you tell?
Names. Long list of dwarves. Wait, hold on. We honor who have made this sacrifice. Let their names be remembered. Fart me a lullaby. It's a memorial of all the dwarves who became golems. Has to be. If there was some way of getting this back to the Shaper at Orzammar, I bet they'd brown their trousers. And pay good gold for it. Probably both.
We are, of course, going to take a tracing of the tablet. If we can have these dwarves be honored somewhere in the Shaper, that's the right thing to do. Have their sacrifice be honored somehow. Speak to Caradin now.
Another life lost because of my invention. I wish no mention of it had made it into history.
Yeah, you ain't kidding. Stupid woman. Always knew the Anvil would kill her.
But at least it ends here. I thank you for standing with me, stranger. The Anvil waits there for you to shatter it.
It was good to meet you, Paragon. I intend to ensure that your warnings about the golems are heard by the Circle of Magi.
Is there any boon I can grant you for your aid? A final favor before I am freed from my burden.
Now, I deeply respect his sentiment of being sad about more lives being lost to his creation, but I would not feel bad about Bronca. He had that coming for the last 2 years. I need the Paragon's support to settle an election.
For the aid you've given me, I shall put hammer to steel one last time, and give you a crown for the king of your choice. There, it is done. Give it to whom you will. I do not wish to hear their names, nor anything more of them. I have already lived far beyond my time. I have no place here.
I will destroy the anvil. As agreed.
That would please me, human.
Of course, we're gonna keep our word here. He's right. We can't let this into the wrong hands. It's too abusable. No more slaves. Not in our name.
You have my eternal thanks, stranger. A trust in all Tunsha. May you always find your way in the dark.
I trust in all Tunsha. And that's the sad end to the story of the Paragon and Caradon, and the very satisfying end to the story of Paragon Bronca. Good riddance to her. We have Shako in Dwarven Helmet, Medium Silver Bar, and the Diamond. Alright, now that is the Anvil of the Void all wrapped up. I'm gonna go ahead and quickly shoot back to this, see if we have any more dialogue with this. If we don't, I'm gonna wrap the episode. The large stone tablet. Leave the tablet alone. Right, so that is the Anvil of the Void taken care of. So that being said, it's a good place to wrap up, and I'll use the next episode to wrap up all the things we can tie off in a loose ends episode. So thanks for watching, everybody. If you enjoyed the video, please subscribe, leave a like and a comment. If you want to support the cause and help improve the channel, as always, there is a tip link in the description below. Otherwise, stay tuned, and I'll see you guys soon with more Dragon Age Origins. I trust of all Tunsha. Have a good day, guys.